Hey, so if you're just not joining, my name is Brandy R. Love, CEO and founder of Lovely Entertainment. This is another edition of Lovelink Live, the talk show with my special guest, Dr. Garfield Bright of the legendary group Shai. What's up?
What's happening? What's happening?
How's the weather there?
Oh, it was 80. It was 80 degrees today in Houston.
I'm jealous. It's freezing here in Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago is the realness off them lakes. You know, I
I
grew up in.
know, and I missed you guys when you came for the '90s concert in October.
Oh yeah. That was fun. That was definitely fun. It hadn't got cold. It
Yeah.
was actually. It was still like temperate. It was like mild during that
Yeah,
time.
it was still mild then, but
Yeah.
now it's
Yeah, I came back from my mom and I. My birthday and my mom is like about a week apart. Mine is the 12th, 1st, and 16th. And she wanted to come to Chicago to celebrate our birthdays, and so I flew back up there when it was cold on Halloween. It was Halloween when I was up.
what?
Yep, and we went to a couple of jazz clubs, went around.
Yeah. Let me know next time you're coming through. There's all kind of stuff to do here.
Yeah, for sure. But we got into a lot of good stuff though. We had a good time, me and mom. So it was definitely enjoyable. You know what I'm saying? We had a good time.
So isn't it crazy how we can just really converse with people through social media, people we never thought we would meet? This is crazy. So just we're gonna take it back to the beginning.
All right, cool.
Did you come to be joined with Shy? And this is just crazy because the '90s was crazy. Because I'm a '90s teenager, so
Yeah, the '90s
I'm
was
just
dope,
like amazed about all of this.
especially living in DC in the '90s. That was really dope. Um,
Yeah.
we all went to Howard University, and that's how we met. Like Darnell, which is one of the original members, he was actually my roommate my freshman year. He's the guy that hit the high note, sings the chorus on If I Ever Fall in Love or whatever. And he and I, we came in at 17 years old. He was from New Jersey. I was from Brockton, Massachusetts, coming out of there. And he ended up pledging Alpha and doing his thing, but and then I ended up doing stuff like joining the nation and stuff like that. And we met back up. And when I got back up with him after he pledged Alpha and all that, he was in this group full of alphas rehearsing for this talent show. And long story short, I wound up in that talent show with them, and then the response was so dope that we decided to try to go get a record deal that day. And then, in our naivety, we thought it should work, and it messed around and worked.
It did work. But did you know that it was just going to take off the way that it did? Like you guys would be legends.
I never thought about the legend part, but we felt like we had a strong song, and If I Ever, be it written it or whatever, Carl wrote the lyrics, and we did the musical version and the different arrangements. But we had two dope versions of a song that we felt, since it was the response we would get from people would always be overwhelmingly like, "Yo, that's dope." So in our naivety, we thought that, sure, we should be able to get a record deal with this. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing all the other political red tape you got to jump through and all that. So we always believed we were supposed to get signed. But I think that was more of a byproduct of us not knowing the industry yet and what it really, really takes to get in there. We were like, in our mind, it was like, yo, Jodeci went cold turkey up there in New York and they got snatched up. Like, we could do that too. But yeah, that was real naive thinking compared to what actually happens. But it messed around and worked. It was one of those one in a million kind of situations where you try something, throw some paint against the wall, and it actually sticks. The rest was history.
So what's one of like your craziest like story tours, like on the tour or like at a music award show?
Oh wow!
There's so many of them, huh?
The memories I have are like the life we live in that kind of situation when you on tour and you're doing the same thing over and over every day from 6 in the morning all the way to 2 in the morning every day over and over and over and over and over and over again. Like in the now of it, they hit you, but they don't leave an impression enough to stick with you so much. It's almost like how all songs that become top 10 hits, songs on the charts are not all created equal. Like some hits are more hits, classic hits than other songs. And some songs are like, oh yeah, I remember that. And some songs are like, yo, that was my joint. And
Yeah.
those times on the road are like the hits that didn't stick with you, but they were still hits. They had a high chart position. Like I really lived it. But it's like when I go to recall, when I go to that part of my mind to recall like stuff that I went through on tour, the stuff like that doesn't stick out versus the stuff like standing on the side of the stage watching SWV kill the show night in and night out, and Coco sounded exactly the same as the record night in and night out. How the band that doubled for SWV doubled for Silk, and the band was so funky, or how Little G was literally singing women out of their drawers while he was on stage, girls crying like he Michael Jackson while he's singing Freak Me. Like these are the kind of memories I those hit me like, oh, because I'm looking at like, damn, my man got like God power in his voice. Like when you get to really see it up close and you live. And then when Dino, like one time my bus broke down and H-Town picked us up, you know, so we could ride with them, you know, to the next state while they messed with our bus. And I remember all night long, me and Dino, rest in peace, you know, we stayed up talking. He was really telling me about how his dad coached him on how he, you know, to get the most out of his voice, and like he'll turn his mouth to the side to get the fullness of that vowel sound out. Like, you know, I thought the back of, you know, good Lord.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He twitched that mouth all the way to get that out. You know, and you always, when you think about Dino, he had a real unique drawl to his, like, you know, and a lot of that was kind of on purpose so he can get the most out of that note that he was trying to get out and stuff like that. So stuff like that sticks out to me more than the crazy moment. It was a lot of crazy moments, but those were like impediments back then that I had to get around. And so today my mind didn't really recall them. You know what I'm saying? There was difficult moments that I didn't really feel like dealing with even at that time. So I'm not even trying to, like, I don't think they stuck with me. You know what I'm saying?
But, you know, I just feel like men in the 90s, they just put more effort into, like, dating and courting women. So what do you think that a man could really do to gain a woman's interest? Because it's like men now, they doing all this texting, and nobody wants to put in any work anymore.
I'm not an authority on any kind of, like, I can speak for myself. You know what I mean? Like, I can't generalize out to men. You know, because it's not a homogenous group to begin with. You know what I mean? It's not a monolith. Men have different sensibilities, different things in their childhood that make them, they have different mamas, and men, you know, usually relate to women based on how they saw mama. You know, it's like a lot of dynamics to what my men think in terms of what's supposed to happen. And, you know, so that's real subjective. I can't give no, you know, I ain't gonna act like I'm some kind of guru on the subject, you know. There's
a lot of those on social media, so-called guru.
Yeah, I don't ever set myself to be no authority like that, because I'm not, you know, nothing's absolute and everything is nuanced, and I respect that. The universe got its own plan. But I do know, you know, if you could be yourself and be kind of honest about who you are and not really try not to send your representative and just really, really be you. And if that sticks, then it must be something. I can say that much, you know what I mean? Like, if being you catches the girl's attention, because you shouldn't be having to try to do all kind of, you know, if you make whatever you are, if it resonates, like a song that you like ain't trying to make you like it. You know, in most cases, is when it's real, like some Marvin Gaye stuff. He was singing off his heart, and if you happen to go through that experience, you was gonna resonate to that. He wasn't trying to like find you. You know, you found that resonation was a sense. So if what you already are resonates with somebody, you know, that's the one that you probably already feel a connection with, because y'all on the same channel anyways. You know, you could feel that, and they could feel it. Both of y'all, all y'all gotta do is communicate about it. You know what I mean? But in terms of just, you know, all that other stuff, like, certain girls want to be courted, certain girls want the flowers, certain girls want the, you know, those types of things that makes them feel like you're being romantic. And some girls don't want all that fluff. They just want you to just be real and be ride or die, and that's all I need from you. Like, you know, and then, you know, I don't want all them hugs. I ain't a huggy person like that. You know, when it's time to get down, boom, boom. But on a, you know, just go, you know, so it's different thing. Like, you know, you can't tell that guy that has a girl like that to do this, that, and the third, because on her it's like, really? You know what I'm saying? You know, and then some girls like, yes, and then, you know, the other thing is like, well, how come he doesn't? You know, and he's like, yo, I'm just being me. You know, so it's kind of like, I don't want to give no advice like in that way, but just be yourself, be you in all spaces if you can. You know, try to just be authentic as possible, and if that meets the bill, then that's the dopest situation. You know what I mean? Take that one. If a girl really feeling you for just being you, that's probably the one you probably need to really long term consider dealing with. You know what I mean? Because we all got faults and all that. But if somebody see through all that and they really still feeling you, because it's just something about the resonance that you just naturally create without trying, that's the one you need to really deal with. You know what I mean? Because you can't really find that or manufacture that. You know, if you send your representative, you'll get somebody who resonate with that, and then when you turn it to yourself, your real
There's a
self.
lot of representatives.
Yeah. So
There's a lot of that.
I'm just me in all spaces. So I just, I'm just, what I'm saying? That part of the game, I ain't the one to ask them kind of questions too much.
So fast forward a little bit. What made you want to continue your education and get your doctorate?
Well, I just love knowledge, and it wasn't for status thing. I could care less if people call me Dr. Bright, to be honest with you. But, like my parents and stuff, they proud of me, and family members, and they like, you better make sure they call you doctor, and all that kind of stuff. But for me, I've been a person, that's my parents were educators and in education. So I kind of like was born into an education-based kind of family where reading was really important at a young age. I had a bevy of different comic books with big words, and I had these black comic books that happened to be real black historical figures that I thought were superheroes until I got in school, and I knew all the black historical figures because I had these comic books called Golden Legacy. I thought they were superheroes, but I learned how to read at an early age, and that stimulated more, deeper thinking about what I was reading at a younger age. Dad gave me, when my mom and dad got a new bed, they gave me their old bed. And in the 70s, some of the beds in the headboard had like bookshelves. And my dad left all these books in the bookshelf. Treasure Island, Pride and Prejudice, Helter Skelter, your boy George Jackson, the Soul Dad Brother. Yeah, Soul Dad Brother. I read all these books at like 7 and 8 years old, and it just sparked a love for reading. It sparked an interest for wordplay, vocabulary, and critical thinking in terms of like how people set up concepts. And that alone, anything that I get fed or consumed, be it media, be it somebody talking to me, or be it, any salesperson or just in the streets, I'm always looking at the meta aspect, how they think about what they're thinking, what I think about what they're thinking, and what are they really saying? And what does that really mean? So I just go there. Not even like I don't try to go there. It's just a natural muscle. And that muscle, though, is precisely the kind of muscle you need to make it through grad school, master's, and PhD. So I kind of just naturally kind of like had it built in, come to find out the ingredients that you need to kind of get through that at a high clip. And I received awards and stuff like that because it was a lot of work, but it was enjoyable to me. I felt like it was a creative experience to do the research and then report out about it. And I don't know, it just was a natural fit for how my mind naturally worked. So yeah, you had to put a lot of work into it, but I was qualified. I was cogent in terms of how I delivered my stuff. Like I knew what I was doing. So yeah, that was enjoyable to experience in my lifetime. So that made me want to keep going. And I just ended up getting a terminal degree in, educational policy, but it was for the love of learning more than anything. I'm not like teaching. I'm not a professor right now or anything like that. I consult people based on how to create like engagement with students, because that was something I was particularly pretty good at. Is as a teacher, I could create engagement or situations that would spark engagement, where the students could trust me and let their guard down enough to like really freely vibe with me. And then we got a lot of stuff accomplished. So people thought I was like really teaching some miraculous way, but really I was just connecting. And I was good at figuring out ways to connect. And that was my strength. So I used that to create programs instead of teaching in classes in college. I create kind of programs in the hoods around critical and digital literacies, so Black young men can kind of tell their stories their way and create their own narratives, which is a counter narrative. And that's kind of like my thing. I do that wherever I go, besides, singing and Shai. That's my part as a PhD.
Okay, so you're a vegan now. I thought that was just so great because I stopped eating pork in '97. My mother was cooking some chitlins on Thanksgiving, and I ran about the house. And I was like, Then I stopped eating red meat in 2010, so now I'm pescatarian. So it's just like, Black people gotta get your help. Yeah, Black people, y'all gotta come on now. Y'all want to live.
Yeah, that was just something, man, I was always like into that as a youngin', like, even though my family, they ate beef and pork and all that. At a certain point, as I start coming of age, I start making my own decisions. I just kind of naturally came into the knowledge of How to Eat to Live by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I also came into contact with African holistic health. Forward was by Baba Dick Gregory. And I just became interested in like the connection between food and your resonance as a spiritual soul, like how food can kind of dull you or keep you sharp. And, you know, that fascinated me because I believed it. You know, I really believed in what I was reading. And I started just on my own trending in that direction. But one fateful day, I was at the gas station, me and two of my homies. And, you know, being 16, I pulled up on, it was three girls in this car. It was three of us. I walked over there to, you know, to the pump, you know, started hollering a little bit, flirting. But one of the girls was Ayanna Gregory, which is Dick Gregory's daughter. And she took us all to her crib in Plymouth, Massachusetts, and just introduced us to all the kind of like health food things her dad was into. And it blew me away. You know, like she gave me, at that time, there was no Whole Foods or no Trader Joe's yet. So she gave me this donut that was wrapped in this plastic cellophane that was, she said, was flavored, sweetened by beet juice. And I was like, there's no way you can convince me that something that's made with beet juice is going to taste good. That's supposed to be a donut. And she gave it to me and it was great. And it made me just start rethinking all the stuff, you know, Burger King. And, you know, now I just stopped putting that. So I quit eating beef and pork at 17. And so, you know, I would be a pescatarian for years. And, you know, joined the Nation, really, in my time at Howard, you know, that's when I was in the Nation. I ate fish only, you know, and then, you know, that's my meat. And then, you know, after a while, you know, even that, like so many years of eating chicken and fish and all the stuff they got in the ocean and, you know, all the hormones and all the genetically modified stuff, I just woke up one day and just quit. I was like, I'm not eating chicken ever again. I'm done. You know, because if, you know, I found that because I did cut everything else out, if I wanted some meat on my rice, it'd be chicken rice. If I wanted a piece of chicken, I get a piece of chicken. If I want a sandwich, it'd be a chicken sandwich. If I want every form of chicken, I was eating chicken, like all them hormones. And I just decided to quit. And that same day, I decided to quit drinking sodas. And that was like 6 years ago. And I just strictly went vegan. And for the first couple of years, I was trying to figure out, like, you know, how to really like sink into it and really calibrate that way of being with how I was trying to be, and lost weight, gained, you know, finally figure out a way to stabilize my weight. And, you know, and then once it became just a part of me, it's now it's just like when you first start trying to drive a stick, it's hard because you got to think about the clutch and not to hit the gas and then pull the thumb. But after a while, it's second nature. You could be on your phone shifting gears. And so that's how I am now about my veganism. Like I figured out what's best for me and what works. And I'm content. I'm good. You know, I feel good. You know what I mean?
You look good too, because you know how sometimes you run back into people, you be like, baby, what happened?
She said,
like, yeah, brother. So you got some new stuff? Yeah. Tell me about the Lotus 3013.
Oh, Lotus 2013. I got a music project. I mean, a book project. It was in my brain for like 10 years. And I finally, after I got my PhD, I vowed to go ahead and get that out of my body. Like it was just living in my body. And it's basically like a book taking place in the year 3013. Hip hop is believed to be invented by white people. There's no connection to history to prove otherwise. The only thing is there's this thing called the Hall of Masters, protected by this black crew called the Netics, because they telepathic and telekinetic. But they have all literally master recordings, the videos, the interviews on MTV, those types of things that prove hip hop came from a black and Latino source from the Bronx, from Cedric and Cedar. And that bastard proof is what the antagonist, Master Set, and the Centillions is trying to smash, so he can create the narrative of being in a perpetual present that lock people off from history. And what they were doing with hip hop in the future is taking it and creating like different space, using it to like make other spaces more magnetic so they can get money. Like they would take the X factor from prisoners linked up. They would give them stimuli, and based on their reactions, they could kind of localize what that X factor is that's in hip hop. And they would take that and transport it into stuff like architectural design for their cities to make them more vibrant. So investors from different places would want to invest money into their stuff, and they ain't getting rich. But the source of it had to be true hip hop, which was the prisoners that they were, when people become prisoners, they use them as lab rats pretty much in this book. Anyway, it's a combination like Harry Potter, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, and Beat Street. If y'all can do some research and figure out Beat Street. Those four things wrapped up is Lotus. And it's a dystopian, it's an Afrofuturistic piece, but it's pretty good to my standards. I actually like it. You know, I'm my own worst critic. But it's a real dope storyline. It's crazy. Like, it's crazy. There's so many layers to it. But check it out. It's going to be on sale in January, probably towards the end. I'm releasing little snippets every week up until that point, like commercial type of things. You'll be able to get more into it. But it'll be $20 for the ebook and the audio book and everything. And you know, you could read along and listen to it. The audio book, my twins, Tyreek and Garfield, they did the score underneath my narrative. They, you know, they played all the, like a TV movie or a movie drama where you hear the score underneath the scenes, the violins, or they played all the mood stuff up under this different, the whole. So it feels like a movie, an audio movie more than an audio book. So yeah, check it out when I put it out. You know, $20, just a dub, get you some good stuff. This, you know.
But guess what? I didn't know that you dabble in acting. I saw a clip on your Instagram page,
Yeah.
like throwback clip.
Yeah, I was so Sequest. It was executive produced by Steven Spielberg. They wanted.
What?
Yeah, it was a scene. Jonathan Brandis, rest in peace, this young actor at the time. He was like the heart, like the Justin Bieber of his day. And they were, you know, the Sequest DMV or DSV, I think it was, yeah, on the set of Universal at that time. Because they were on Universal and Shai was signed to MCA Universal, our parent company. So they were like, hey, we need some music for a couple of scenes in the next episode. And they were like, hey, we got Shai, you know, you like anything? So they used Baby I'm Yours for like a little love interest scene that he had. And they invited us to come watch the scene. While I was standing there, this guy walks up to me and was like, hey, have you ever, I'm just curious, do you have any acting ability, or have you done any acting in the past? And of course I was like, yo, yeah, knowing I was lying. Like, what? Yeah.
It was like,
so dude gave me this like script, dude named Malik. I mean, that was the character's name. I like that because it's a strong black name. It wasn't G Money and none of that. It was Malik, right? I was like, oh, this is dope. And it was like a Portuguese dude from the favelas. And he was protecting his younger comrades. Like, you know, they were all like little misfits, and all the males they pickpocket. So the government thinks that they're bad for tourism, and they kill them off at nighttime. They kill off the males at nighttime. So I helped them escape from the island, but I stole a sub, a Navy sub, to escape with the kids. Anyway, so I had a big thing, but big part, fighting scenes, everything, and I was all up and through that episode. It's called The Good Death, that episode of Sequest. I think it's the second season. But yeah, check it out. It's fun. It was fun, but it was an experience. Like, I was underwater with this mechanical dolphin they had that could talk. It was crazy. The technology, the set, I think it cost almost $1 million a day to record.
wow.
It was really expensive. They ended up having to move to Florida studios to finish because it was a little cheaper. But yeah, I got a chance to act in that. You know, in acting, I did a good job to be a rookie at that. But just, I admire actors because it's hard for me to act other than just who I am. Like, it's hard for me to, or what I think I am. What is a you anyway? You know, a you is not some static thing that floats through and things, you know, like you're all your experiences congealed in this little ball that you believe to be you. And, you know, some of those beliefs fall off and new ones come in. Like, it's never no static thing that's a you. So, you know, what I perceive to be me, I can't ever let go of that enough to let me be whatever the role is, to just stretch myself into these acting roles like real good actors can do. So I just don't have that, you know what I mean? I can only be myself. And, you know, those real method actors who go into like Leonardo DiCaprio and all these people.
Yeah, that's the greatest.
But you can see how dope they are when they in it. Like, I believe, like Will Smith, even like King Richard and Jamie Foxx when he was Ray, and like to go there with it. Like, I admire that, man. That's I just can't let myself lose the feeling of voluntarily losing myself is almost the same feeling if somebody told me to go just break my hand on purpose right now so somebody can fix it. Like, I'm not about to break my own hand. You know what I'm saying?
I never thought about that. Like, yeah, because some people do say it's hard to detach from the role after you know, when you come out. But I think you just have to be grounded.
Or something, or crazy, or borderline. Because
wait a minute, I'm an actress and I'm not crazy. So.
I'm just saying. I'm not really saying crazy is dysfunctional, but like to just split your own personality on purpose and freely be able to go through them, like turning radio stations to the next 90s, you know, and actually have something to come through that you can listen to. Like, that's like in that mode is like, who are you really? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Which one is the real you? Like, I think Jim Carrey was even talking about how he kind of lost himself like that for a minute. Like,
yeah,
you know,
I remember that.
So hard in the paint in these characters and goes in there like the him of it all the concept of a you to begin with kind of just gets muffled, or it's almost like cops who see so much death, they kind of get numb to death. Like it's a related kind of, you know, dynamic, except that's way more morbid. But you know what I mean? Like those types of things, you kind of like want to preserve the. Like I purposely don't watch accidents when I go down the highway and see a whole bunch of. I don't want to have that image in my brain to even be able to pull from energetically. You know what I mean? I'm gonna encounter enough stuff that's gonna sap some of my spirit and energy along the way that I can't avoid. If I can avoid some of that, I'll do it. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so. And that's an interesting segue because I have 2 sons as well, and my youngest is on the autism spectrum. So when everything happened with all this police brutality, it just was like, oh my God, it was just so disheartening. I'm like, how do I manage all of this? This world is crazy now. Well, what kind of conversation do you have to your sons about that?
Well, like when they little, I'm talking to them about the world. That's just me, how I am, Garfield. Like everybody who knows me knows it ain't no too late. If you could process information, you can start learning that there's a full reality and an actuality. And you got to navigate both of them. And this is what one looks like that you living in, that you have to navigate. But then there's another world that's that is more true to you. That's calibrated on your definition of what you think humans should be. And that world, never lose sight of it, always contrast and compare, but then have the audacity to have the vision to see what that other one could be and try to make that one become. And if you do music, try to make your music in such a way to where people get more pulled in to your world in that way. You know what I mean? Try to change it in that way, you know, because it's all about vibe. Stakes is high. Jay Dilla and De La Soul had this song called The Stakes is High. When you're dealing with the vibration, like that's so true. That's all that there is. I was just tripping. I had an epiphany the other day about Adam. You know, I always look at words like Adam and Eve, and it hit me hard because in Arabic, the word for the number one or for the concept of oneness is odd, A-H-D. And if you think about even the way we use the word, oh, that's odd. It's something that sticks out. Like it comes from that, I think, odd. But Adam, odd. You got one, and then you got Om. The vibratory sound Om. So the one sound or the original sound is what Adam represents. And so it's a lot more to that. But I was looking at sound being the origin of all this stuff, because sound has a corresponding mathematical structure and color scheme. And so sound can produce civilizations and universes in terms of things that we see as superpositions that coagulate as matter that we see in this fake world of illusion that we swim through in these avatars. Sound holds all this together, you know. So, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot to this, man. You know, but I stay in that realm a lot because that moves me more than the realm that I'm living in, the COVID realm. I can't like take that as food because it won't sustain me. Like, and I know that a lot of this stuff is so far from organically happening that I've been peaked that. So, you know, and I'm not a person that gets on a soapbox and preaches to people about what this is we're looking at. Because I'm not just, you know, people want to label you. But I see, you know what I mean? And because of that, then my sanity and my spiritual juice just goes even more towards creativity and having the audacity to see what is not and try to make that be through making musical imprints on people that's different than the imprints sonically they're getting from the media and different things out here in terms of the shock and terror and fear food that they getting on a constant basis that make them even have to deal with that. Even if they not like that, they got to ingest that and then process it and get it out. I try not to even consume that if I can. And then people who do are in my space, I try to give them something real good to consume. And usually that's good energy, a good smile, you know what I mean? That's free. Some good music if you got it, you know what I mean? Some good conversation, a healthy, you know, like transactional kind of discourse where it ain't me dominating or you dominating. It's like usness, you know what I mean? Like a good feel of usness in a transaction where you feel like you got something, no matter how little or big. That's a fulfilling, like, you know, sample of something in your day that you can call some real soul food, and that sustains. And that's what changes what you living in, the vibratory cage that we living in. Like those kind of frequencies that you let in actually kind of nullify the real prison frequency that we in all day long. You know.
So who are some of the current artists that you listen to now?
Oh, current artists. I like the young brother Jeremiah. I like his voice. I want to hear more from him, but I really like his songs. He got some dope songs, you know.
He does.
Maybe we can be on chill tonight. That one, and that there's no we without you and I. That was dope. Like that's something that did. There's no we without you and I. That's a mature, catchy, and real concept. There's no we without you, and then we is a play on words because we is yes in French too. So it's like there's no yes without a mutual agreement, or there's no we period. Like that's just a dope joint. And then his voice, and I like Miguel. I think he's dope. He's different, and nobody sound like him, you know. And he's dope, man. He got some dope things to his voice, and some dope things that he depends on. Like, you know, KC from Lotus used to yeah, yeah, you know, the yeah, that was his signature. Ooh, yes, that thing.
Yeah.
Miguel got some stuff that's his thing, you know, that signature. I can't even mock him, but I like him. He's dope. I miss Music Soul Child though. I miss my Dwayne.
Yeah, I do.
I'm wondering, you know what I'm saying? I need some more to come in my zone, like, you know what I mean? But yeah, those two right there, those are some dope dudes. I like my man. The people always be like, yo, you look like he used to wear his hair like this for a minute. Dope voice.
Can't think of.
He came out. I think he came out around the same time as Trey Songz first came out. Lloyd.
You talking about Lloyd now?
Lloyd.
Yeah,
I like Lloyd.
Yeah.
I like Lloyd.
Ooh, that was a lit album.
I absolutely Lloyd, man. But I like him as a person. Like I see he got the same kind of spirit to me as that I feel when I listen to my man J. Cole rhyme. Like it's something in a spirit that's the same. Like they're different genres and all that, but I feel like them two dudes are kind of like the same kind of dude. If I were to meet, you know, really really sit down and chop it up, and that's they dope. You can see they good guys. Like I can see that through just their spirit, whatever. But they artists, they dope artists. I like J. Cole. That's just another artist out there that I really, really, really like conceptually in terms of what he's doing with hip hop and his bars. You know, he's really conceptual. And I need my man, where Kendrick Lamar at, man? I hope he in there brewing up a pot of something crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm waiting. I've been waiting for you to come give me some more food, man. Yeah, but and it's more that I'm probably missing, but those kind of like stand out for the new type artists. I like those cats, you know what I'm saying?
So what do you think about all this self-publishing and streaming that artists can do? Because there's a lot of horror stories. Nobody got a good deal in the 90s.
Yeah, nobody. Well, think about that whole concept of a deal. And think about the concept of sitting down at the table where somebody else brings you the contract that you have to then go back and find a lawyer to find any kind of like room to just have some kind of like specialty items in there for your comfort zone. But it's basically already skewed power dynamics wise to the person who presented it, who is basically the owner or about to be the owner of you an artist, but as soon as you sign a contract, you become a product producer. Like as soon as it leaves your birth canal and gets born, it's no longer this piece of art that you think you just produced. Like, oh, it immediately becomes a product. Mm-hmm. And you just, and in their world, you just an extension of the product they trying to sell. Like they wish you could just get out the damn way and they could just sell your product. And you just, but you don't realize that until, you halfway through it and stuff like that. What was the question? Because I was leading to something.
No, I was just, it's just amazing to me how artists can really self-publish and all these different streaming. Like, yeah.
If you can cut out the middleman, because back then, it was all about the distribution being worldwide. Like MCA and all these labels, yeah, that was the record label. They pretty much is a bank, basically charge you interest on a return. But they have a chain where they can really get your music out. That was basically the main reason why you signed with the labels, because their distribution got you all over the world. But now the internet reaches all over the world. You don't need that middleman for that. And
right.
And you can create your brand enough in a local kind of way enough, people to resonate with you. You could build a core audience, and if you can monetize that, the whole world might not know who you are, but you have a nice bank account, and and you can sustain yourself. What's messing with that as an artist? And you might mess around and get bigger than that. You know what I mean? But you can still do what you love to do and eat. And if we had that back then, we didn't need to slap ourselves if we signed a record deal with anybody, especially in the day where they're trying to give you these 360 deals and get a cut of your shows. And if you
Oh
blow,
my Lord.
you know, all that stuff, you know what I mean? And now, like I saw a comment, you can get your masters if you really, really go there legally because of a law that got put in place a few years back that once your artists, the contracts are over 30 years old, something to that effect, they don't have, they're no longer, you know, valid. They can be, you know, you can go back and re-up or renegotiate or do what the deal is, but you can definitely get a new royalty situation. But in a lot of cases, if you fight for them, you can get your masters back. Because that's part of your deal. And, you know, people like Anita Baker and Ashanti and people like that are trying to do those kinds of moves. And Anita got hers. Somebody else got theirs too. That was my memory's gone. I took note of it, but somebody else got their masters recently. That was a dope move besides Anita Baker. But nah, we didn't get our masters. No. We didn't get our masters. You know, we not much of a unified front as a 4-man situation to really just go strong at it. And, you know, start talking about legal representation, who gonna do it, and you know, it's solidified right now as it should be with the original members. But I encourage any other group that do have, like, you know, like our Silk, all of them are still together. Like, there's a few groups out there that just stay together like that. Go get your masters, man. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's right. Go get them coins.
Like us, you know, who actually wrote their own material. You know, we wrote all of our own stuff anyway, so it ain't like some outside producer gonna be mad because we got the masters. Like, you know, if you wrote all your own songs, go get your masters. That's your product anyway. And I'm telling my own self that too. Like, we definitely need to make that, you know, part of our bucket list. Even if we don't have as unified as front as we would like, we should still go get our masters. So that's true. That's facts. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's so funny. I think it was Arsenio Hall show. It came up on my YouTube feed, and my son was like, "Wait a minute, how old are they?" I'm like, "They the same age as me, so we ain't that old." But it was just, y'all look so cute. It was like some good memories, man.
Arsenio was my favorite night show dude. Like, he had a natural talent for that. Like, he was made perfectly for that type of engagement, that interaction. Like, he was totally that guy. Like, you couldn't cast a better person than Arsenio to be that. He was quick on his feet, witty. He was sensitive when he needed to be in terms of like respecting certain boundaries. He would push the envelope, but he had a way of pushing the envelope that didn't piss the people off who didn't want it to go that. Like, he had a combination of so many and certain things that only he could get away with because of his personality that kept the audience feeling at ease. Like, he just had a way. He did a lot of like nuancey things that I respect as a person. That you know who else got dope skills like that to me naturally, but it's in a whole nother mode though. And people might not see the connection, but a real natural at what he does was Nori, man, from Drink Champs. The podcast Drink Champs, you know, where they
I've never heard of it.
What?
No.
Drink Champs with Nori. Like, you know, Nori from Capone Noriega, the rap group from Queens.
Yeah, but I've never listened to the podcast.
Oh, well, Nori with DJ FN from they in Miami, and they got a podcast called Drink Champs. It's so dope. They got all the artists coming on there, and they drink for like 3 hours and just talk about life. By the end of it, they be so lit, but all the truth be coming out. But your boy, he's just dope maneuvering with people and stuff. Sometimes he cross the line, but he'll tell himself that, I fucked up, you know. Nori's dope. He should have been doing that. Like how Fab Five Freddy was dope like that too. He was a natural like that. Fab Five Freddy. I look up to him too. But yeah, I'm just, you know, I'm old school.
So are we gonna see a new album from Shai?
Well, yeah, we're working on some stuff. I'm currently doing my own little project called Off Track. It's an acapella album where I'm actually literally doing the tracks acapella, like trumpet, the drums, the strings, and then I'm doing a song on top of that, like, and mixing it like a song, like, even though it's all my voice, you know, it's actually tracks with beats and stuff in here, but I'm making it with my mouth. It's called Off Track because, you know, there's no tracks, it's acapella. And two,
yeah,
doing something off the path of Shai, like just a Garfield project. And I'm just doing one. I'm not trying to do no solo career or nothing like that. I just always want to just do one album. And just a little novelty because it's all acapella, so it's a cool little, you know, But Shai, yeah, me and Darnell, we've been going back and forth with Pro Tools and sending each other tracks and singing little pieces and bits on different little things, getting some stuff together. I was just looking at the Pro Tools list today, the songs that we cut, pieces of songs that we sent back and forth, like, oh yeah, we got some cool little joints, we need to keep it. So we don't have an actual timeline on it. We just, as artists, we just make it until we feel like it's ready. Then you'll hear something. But it's some clever little stuff. My project I'm trying to make come out in February, my solo project. And right after, on the heels of my book release in January. So, stay tuned to my IG for all that. And, for sure.
Okay. Well, okay then, Dr. Garfield Bright. Tell us your social media accounts before we get out of here.
Oh, okay. The Garfield Bright Experience is my IG. And, the Garfield Bright Facebook. And then, you got Shai Hieroglyphics. And then you got just a straight Shai page too, Shai R&B and everything. So, any of those you can find me or Shai at. And, just stay tuned. We'll keep you posted on our next moves. Right now, we just coming off the strings of a whole lot of shows. And so we're relaxing for a minute. I think our next show's maybe in February. We kind of out. So January is my time to really make my moves between these shows. I'm gonna be going hard. So stay tuned on my IG. I'm gonna be posting up a lot of stuff coming soon about
sure will.
Yeah.
Okay. It was a pleasure just to exchange energies with you. You're really humble.
Oh,
really
thank you.
humble guy.
Thank you.
But I don't know. I'm probably sure you're tired of these light skinned jokes, but they like they say light skin back in style.
No, I mean it's just the reality of the times. I'm not mad. Like, that's fun. That's fun stuff.
That's good stuff.
That's stuff you live.
All right. Well, you have a good evening, guys, and stay in touch.
Peace.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.